Welcome again to Pinned and Broken, a Mantic Universe podcast with a focus on epic warpath. I'm Drek. I'm joined tonight by Jordan and Josh. I think it looks like
Hello,
tonight
guys.
we're going to be talking tournaments, demos, and the Vault debacles. So, Josh, you said hello already, and I just kept talking over you. Hi,
Hello, everybody. Happy New
Jordan.
Year.
It is a
Hey,
happy. So, diving right in. We are officially sellouts. Adepticon, the Epic Warpath big game, which is the 6-player 3v3 demo table game, sold out within a couple of hours of registration opening. And the tournament, which was slated at 16 players, nearly sold out first day and has, to my understanding, officially sold out now, which means all 16 slots are filled. I know that Mantic has requested that Adepticon expand it to 24 players, so we're just waiting on confirmation for that. So if you are listening and you're thinking, I want to go play Epic at Adepticon, get yourself waitlisted so it will backfill you in as soon as they open up additional slots. It would be pretty awesome to fill Epic up on its first year. I had the pleasure of
Epic even.
it would be epic. Hey, wait. I think I got something for that. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Ah, man, I should have been better prepared. I can get a badump, but I don't know where it's at. There it is. I keep that on hand for Jordan. As I was saying, I had the pleasure of TOing the first Halo Nationals at Adepticon last year, and it ended up registering, I think, 25 and had 22 active players. So if we can get 24 players for Epic Warpath, that would be pretty sweet. I guess that's all I've got to say about that. Do you guys have anything exciting to say about Epic? Do you have your armies ready?
My army is officially all painted as of like 3 days ago.
Mine is
So,
not.
But you're working on it, aren't you, Jordan?
At this very second, I am.
Look, I'm
but
going to abuse this.
oh boy. But as far as, the tournament and Adepticon goes, that's really exciting and healthy for the community and game to see it sell out basically day one.
Agreed.
Yeah, so hopefully you guys are able to pull through and get those extra tables uh there for the event. But besides Adepticon and tournaments though, there's learn to plays and stuff you're doing?
Yeah, I'm the big game. I decided to be all bushy and like do my demo table essentially as like a lore dive. And I know I've talked about this before, but I want to do the containment of Adriana, which was the first major plague enforcer conflict that led to like the creation of the containment protocols in the Warpath universe. So it's 1,000 points each side. It's 3 enforcer players on one side, 3 plague players on the other, and simple objectives in the middle. But it's just an excuse for you to sit down and learn the game on hopefully a cool looking board. And, the idea being is that you're walking past a 12-foot table with thousands of points of models moving across it in an epic conflict. It should look really, really freaking cool. At least that's the hope. I mean, it may look like dog crap because I'm still painting terrain, but
And I'm helping.
yay! Thanks.
It's still gonna look like
So,
dog crap, but
yeah, but it's gonna look like a different dog crap. So
exactly.
it won't just be my crap.
Well, I plan to win the Adepticon tournament. I was at Michigan GT and I took last place in Firefight, so I think we're gonna steamroll over at Adepticon with Epic, since that's more my
Listen,
jam.
worst place rhymes with first place.
You gotta. It'll be like the opposite yin and yang, or however. It
Surprising other notes that I was privy to hear. Dead Zone sold out day one at Adepticon. That's I can't remember if it's 16 or 24 players, but they're looking to expand that. Firefight is, last I saw, only like 7 players signed up for it. It's on Saturday. But I think that's running into problems with overlapping Clash of Kings. So the big 2-day Kings of War tournament that's going on. There is also an Annihilation Firefight tournament, but that doesn't seem to be getting much, if any, traction at all. Last I saw, there was only a couple of seats that were sold for that.
I'll be excited
And
to
Halo
see.
sold out.
I'll be excited to see the Kings of War tournament, since they've got the new edition and
Yeah.
everybody's thoughts on it. I've only been able to semi read through the rules, and I was never a Kings of War player, so can't really comment too much. But yeah, I'm excited though for everybody to play in a new edition.
Well, yeah, and it's exciting too because the meta for that game is going to be really fresh, considering it just came out. So I think Adepticon is going to be, 3-4 months into the game's life. It's going to be really cool to see what people bring and put on the table. So outside of Adepticon looking good for Mantic, another side note for Mantic, if you were there last year, Mantic had their own room, which was just freaking awesome. We had this kind of like side room. We were to ourselves. It was just all the games going on all day, all night. Um, had like a little balcony off the side that we were locked out from using for whatever reason. But they have their own room again this year, but they picked up like an extra 500 square feet. So it's a bigger room, but it's on the other side of the hall. Um, I want to say, I can't remember if it's above or below the main vendor hall, but still, they will have their own. There will be a exclusive Mantic room that you'll be able to come in and see all the fun and exciting games going on. And speaking of fun and exciting games, February 28th at my FLGS, I'm going to see you guys bright and early at 10 in the morning for some Adepticon pregame.
And we're using the same tournament packet that's going to be there for Adepticon.
We are. I modified the tournament pack. I'm glad you brought that up. I should have said something about that. The tournament pack is ready. I don't know if it's posted to Adepticon yet, but the way the companion's structured, I have to be able to link the event to the tournament so that the registration opens up. So what'll happen is once Adepticon gets it posted, I'll be able to create the event in the companion, and then I can link it back to Adepticon, and I will update the file with the registration code. So if you are attending Adepticon, you'll be able to pull the tournament pack and the scenario pack, and it'll have the codes in it. I also intend to, I know some people in the Epic group on Facebook have already started talking about the tournament. So I figure I'll just get a Facebook group up and running for anyone that's going to be at Adepticon. If they want to try to get pickup games of Epic in on like Wednesday night, I intend to have the tables set so they're ready to go Thursday morning. And other than having to tear down a couple for the big games Friday, unless they need them removed, I'll be able to leave them up if people want to get pickup games of Epic in and just keep it on the table for a couple of days.
Speaking of that, list-wise on it, super heavies.
Yeah, if you want to bring a super heavy 1,500 point legal list, just make sure that it passed validation in the companion. I've had a conversation with a couple of people who are coming who are intrigued by the 1,500 point value because it is enough to bring a super heavy, but it's a question of whether you should or shouldn't bring that super heavy. And
It's going to get spicy.
yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Super excited. I did put together a list for Patrick. I have to paint an Asterian Blade Warden for him and an Overseer. But I've got his
Who's
army
this Patrick?
the Swedish giant, Patrick, the man who's
Oh,
not played the games but has the audacity to fly across the pond, sleep with us, and probably win the tournaments because that's how he rolls. But if he does it with my armies, I guess I won't complain.
yeah. One of the painted armies of yours taking
That,
first place.
that
It'll never
technically,
happen in real life, so
Right?
I'd say
I'll never make it happen.
it doubles the chance of you winning, right? But you're not even gonna play even if for a ringer, are you?
Well, it depends. I mean, if Epic needs a ringer, I'll ring. But I would prefer not to. Not saying that I don't want to play. I would be excited to get a few rounds of Epic in at Adepticon. But if if I don't have to ring, that's ideal, so I can still float around the tables and get photos for the community and talk to people and BS and look at models, all that fun stuff. I'm gonna beg somebody else to come judge best painted because I don't think I cannot be unbiased, being as you, Don, uh, Patrick, both you guys. I know at least 4 people in that tournament. I know at least 6 people in that tournament, so it's going to be hard to um, not be biased on best painted, unless of course someone did something really spectacular. But
You don't have to judge mine on painting. There's no bias needed.
Jordan, you should know by now that judging your painting is something that I constantly do.
Well,
I mean,
I'm not saying you
it's
won't judge it. I'm just saying you won't be in any danger of showing your bias.
But coming back around, February, we're running the exact same tournament pack at my FLGS for up to a dozen players. Josh, we'll call him out on the podcast. Did your buddy get registered for the tournament, or is he not going to be able to make it?
that's a great question.
Because as it stands, I'm looking at about 4 slots left, and I'm pretty sure there's 4 times that many players in the Columbus area, and more than a few of them are willing to make the drive.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to make it. For some reason, he thought it wasn't going to be an all-day thing, and I'm like, dude, we're looking at least 3 hours of driving before there's gameplay.
I'm looking at 10 a.m. for the start time.
That
10 a.m. is when registration will start, so 10:30 will be first round, and then 2-hour rounds.
that seems easily doable.
Okay. I know I was talking about 9 because Don's like, the earlier the better. And I was like, I can do 9. And Kyril's like, that's too damn early. So
I don't know why you're even entertaining Michigan people's idea on time and stuff. We are Ohio boys.
listen, I'm trying to foster unity between our 2 great states.
Well, one great state.
Jordan's just sitting over there enjoying that.
I mean, except for Josh is living in Ohio, and I'm pretty sure he is saying Michigan is the great state, not Ohio.
Josh spends a lot of
No.
time in southern Michigan.
I do, but that's only because work is making me. Although Holland, Michigan is very, very nice. I'll leave it at that.
It is left. So February 28th, we'll have that tournament. I am going to see if maybe I can set up a camera on table 1 for that event just to record a few games, just to get them out to the community, but we'll see how that goes. In other Warpath related news, I did a Firefight demo night a week or so ago, and didn't have a huge turnout, but the shop owner of my FLGS, I made him sit down and play, and it took him about 3 rounds before the game clicked in his head. He's a big Magic player, and once that light went on, I think I got him hooked. So I'm
And good job
hopefully.
on running that, by the way.
Thanks.
Well,
Do I get
it's
a
always
clap?
well. Oh, I don't use the soundboard. Just organizing demo days is one of the challenging things I always find myself struggling to do. So when I heard that you were doing that and that you pulled it off and you got people to show up and attend and play, I was pretty impressed. So good job.
I've got a couple of regulars, and it's thanks to Halo. So they're expanding. They're expanding out from Halo. I got them to play Dead Zone a few weeks ago, and one guy went over. Well, the one guy won a firefight starter at MGT. He won it by getting last place. So, but he's sitting on a Edge of Sanity starter with Asterians and Night Stalkers in it, and then we played Dead Zone, and he went over and nabbed the Asterian Plague starter box for Dead Zone as well. So he's sitting on plenty of models. The other guy's like, I'm intrigued to play, and I know you have a lot of crap, so which is fine. We'll slowly drag him in.
Crap, huh? He told you your stuff was crap.
other people's stuff is always crap. Your stuff is stuff. George Carlin told us that. But the shop owner's like, I'm gonna need you to paint a Forge Father army for me. It's like, I'm gonna need you to wait until I get through Adepticon. But there'll be dwarves
Well,
in my future, apparently.
priorities.
But speaking of demo nights, Gordo got a new game group. Tell us where you are and what we've got.
I mean, I'm in Fort Wayne. Met up with the local Pathfinder. He was running some King's demo. I went and met up with the guys there and played a short King's demo last Sunday. And he decided to get a local Discord together. And I don't know, pretty quickly, a couple people said, "Hey, let's meet up again on next Sunday." One guy's gonna bring Kings, so there's a few people playing Kings. I'm gonna bring Epic and Firefight. I might only play one of the two, but a couple of guys got way in on Epic, so look forward to playing some of that.
Awesome.
I think maybe they're more Dead Zone guys than they are Firefight at the moment, just because of the
Well,
amount
you
of
need to play some Dead Zone anyway, so
suppose.
Did
I
Well,
I do
playing
like Dead Zone.
Kings of War get you excited and make you want to build hordes of orcs and goblins?
I will say after um, that demo game, I decided to um, buy the book bundle that had the map, the two books, and all the tokens and stuff. I'd already bought like 4 King's armies, right? Just because convention deals and like, ooh, cool models for cheap.
Right.
So I bought in a lot. Um, so
I
I
have
knew I
so much.
needed to get those, but I hadn't yet. So, and it's going to provide me motivation to, well, maybe paint some of the stuff that I have on the table for the games that I already know a little better to then move on to that.
I'll tell you what. If you get a King's Army on the table,
Mm-hmm.
I will get a King's Army on the table.
Yeah.
I'll match
And I
that.
don't mean like you just assemble it and push gray plastic around. I mean you build and paint a King's Army.
Mm-hmm.
You pick the point value, if it's 800 or 1,000 or 2,300, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If you muster one, I will see your mustering.
Yeah, it's just me deciding. I've built a lot. It's me deciding on which one's going to be the easiest one for me to paint.
Night Stalkers.
The
I'm thinking either
elemental army.
Night Stalkers or demons.
Yeah, Forces of the Abyss wouldn't be terrible. And I mean, I painted up some Vanguard stuff, which are just King's models, but I had a really good time painting up Vanguard. But it's much more that it's the Dead Zone mentality there, where you're painting a dozen models versus that's one regiment or horde. I'm sorry, it's one horde for Kings. And like I said, I got 30 orc axes and a crudger in, and I'm just like, I can't. That's an entire firefight army right there. I'm done.
Depends on the firefight army. I mean, it'd only be a quarter of a rat army. So
Yeah,
It's
well,
true.
that's one rat unit. The slaves.
Well, I'll tell you what. After my demo night, I played GCPS against an Enforcer Peacekeeper demo list. They're only 500 point list, but I had my GCPS had two 5-man Ranger squads and a 5-man command squad and a mule, and then I had a 14-man Marine squad, and it has changed my view on playing the GCPS because one of the faction commands for GCPS is trigger happy. So you get +1 die on any trademark weapon. And when you've got 14 GCPS grunts, 2 of them with grenade launchers, that's 12 dudes with trademark weapons. So suddenly you're throwing 24 dice plus 2 grenades that are blast D4. And yeah, peacekeepers don't look look so scary anymore.
No, it seems solid.
That I felt bad, but I was having way too much fun throwing that many dice. So I am. I know I said I'm going to work on my Asterians in 2026, but that it may be finish all of my enforcers and then work on GCPS. But time will tell. So Josh, you've got a demo game coming up yourself here really soon.
Yeah, I'm hoping on Saturday, assuming the snowpocalypse doesn't cancel our plans, uh, that one of my good friends who's followed me into almost all the wargaming I've done is going to come over. I'm going to record a demo game, and you guys, well, like you guys specifically here in the chat at the moment, should be able to hop on from the Discord and heckle us. But I'm
Oh, there
going
will be
to
severe heckling.
try and record it as a learn to play, and we can release it as a you know do this, play the game, get better kind of thing. I've been playing against enforcers almost exclusively recently, so I feel pretty comfortable in coaching his army into winning. But yeah, he's going to bring over his enforcers that he just assembled this week and started painting. I don't think he's gotten much done with them, but
Well, I know David. They're going to be bright red, aren't they?
no, they're
He's not.
not.
He's not doing Blood Angel Enforcers.
No, they're Mass Effect colored. They're like gray and
Oh,
blue.
cool.
So so yeah, we've got that and it should be decent looking. I've got a pretty solid setup for video battle reports. Actually, I haven't looked to see what the community has posted for some video battle reports, but it,
There's not a lot. There's this
well,
one guy that did one, and he had some background music that he probably shouldn't have looped through the entire battle report because when he was editing it, it sounded a lot quieter. But then when he posted it, it sounded so fucking loud that it was almost irritating.
Screwed up a few things in it.
Yeah,
His
yeah,
opponent
but
was
he hasn't.
playing, playing with unpainted filth.
Maybe, maybe. I mean, well, the problem was, I mean, he had so much footage recorded because his opponent kept slow playing him.
so yes, I'm hoping to get that accomplished this week. Well, in just like 2 days' time. And then I believe I actually have another game I'll be doing the following week. So I'm getting like games in every week. So I'm excited.
Fantastic. I keep trying to get people to come over and play, but for some reason, come into my basement and let me record you playing games doesn't seem to lure people like free candy on the side of a van. So
I mean, we just pick a weekend and I'll be there.
Yeah.
this weekend, no, I'm kidding. Snowpocalypse weekend, you're gonna get a lot of lake effect snow too, aren't you?
The last thing I saw was like 10 plus inches. So
Whew. Thank
yeah,
God you
we'll
got
see how
kids to
that
shovel those
goes.
walks.
Um,
Hey,
so it's coming. It's coming up from Texas. Texas. So no, I don't.
Oh, you've been paying more attention to the weather than I have. My kids are all over it because they don't want to go to school.
yeah, let me pull up this map. Yeah, the current projection is 10 to 16 inches for me.
Whew,
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes.
that'll
I'm
be a
only
good
four.
time.
I'm only 4 to 6.
I think we're somewhere in the area of like 6 to 10. But I mean, if it's one, they'll cancel school. So, well, that brings us on to the most dramatic news of our day. So, Mantic announced updates to the Vault. We knew this was coming for a while. They've said that there was going to be a version 2 of the Mantic Vault. Personally, I'm excited. But along with this update has come price changes. So, they sent out an email as time of this recording yesterday. And I'm just going to run through the details because as I've seen Ronnie himself out on Facebook trying to, for a lack of better words, damage control rollout, I feel like there's some outrage, and it might be outrage from like not reading the email. So I'm just going to go through this course section starting April 1st. It's not a joke. There will be 4 membership options to the Vault. Well, Vault / Companion, whatever. There's the Vault only option, which is just STLs. That's £10, which is what, 15 US?
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
That gets you access to the monthly packs, just as the current thing does, and that is the exact same price as the Vault by itself right now. Then they have 3 other structures. There's the Companion. That's moving from £4 to £4.50. That grants complete access to all of the rules and unlimited army building for a single Mantic IP, be that Kings, Firefight, Epic, whatever your choice be. Then there is the Club Mantic. That's moving from £6 to £7.50. And that is access to the complete rules and unlimited list building for all Mantic IPs. So when I say all Mantic IPs, this excludes Halo Flashpoint. Flashpoint has its own companion because of the licensing concerns. And Flashpoint has no vault. Finally, there's the Fanatic. This is £15. This is the combined Vault and Companion subscription. So you get the new monthly sculpts just like you will just from subscribing to the Vault. You'll get full access to the Companion and all of Mantic's IPs there. In addition, there are some other bonuses. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me skip the other bonuses for a minute and just read down the email. So there was language when Mantic first released the Vault about initial supporters always receiving a discount. So because I received this email, I'm assuming I am part of the Fanatic Founders level. So that means that I'll get everything at the Fanatic tier, but I get an early bird discount, reducing the cost to just £12 or £12.50 a month. So saves you $2.50. If you were one of the original 1,000 supporters of the Vault, which I doubt I was, it's $11.50 a month. So a $1.50 increase from what you were paying, a £1.50 increase from what you were paying. So this will be available to anyone who has a membership before midnight the 31st of March 2026. So the $12.50 rate you can get now if you sign up for both for basically the Fanatic level. So you're a platinum member is the current structure. So you'd have the Vault and you'd have the full companion. So if you're thinking about signing up, now might be the time to do it just to get that discounted rate. So after April 1st, if you're a Fanatic or a Founder, in addition to all your Vault and Companion accesses, you're going to get a 20% digital store discount on everything they sell on the Manic Digital website. So that's going to be rule PDFs. That's going to be individual STLs that aren't part of the packs, because there will be additional models released that are not part of the monthly Vault pack, as there already have been. They did the Salamander Army release. The Salamander Army release did pretty well, but it did not unlock all of its stretch goals. Anything that was a stretch goal on that was not unlocked can actually be purchased right now in the Vault through the store. Or if you wait until April 1st, it can be purchased at a 20% discount if you're a Founder or Fanatic. If you sign up for it after the fact, you'll get a 50% discount on the previous 2-month packs. That seems to have been in place all along. The previous packs were like $30 and they were like 15 if you were a member. There's also exclusive Fanatic member only polls that will help guide the future content of the Vault. One of the reasons for the price increase on the Vault, according to conversations I saw going on in Discord with Clive and whatnot, is that Mantic has hired a full-time digital sculptor into the studio.
Honestly, that one perk sways me to almost want to upgrade my thing to the Fanatic just to be able to vote in the polls.
I find it really exciting. That sculptor's work has already shown up, from my understanding, like some, if not all, of the Vault Chasers for the Veerman that came out a couple months ago. where the new sculptors work, and I guess most, if not all, of the new Salamander line was this guy's works, guy or gal. I don't know who they are. Um, but so that's cool to know that there is a sculptor on hand, and that we're going to see regular model releases. Now, it might not be for a game you play. I mean, I've got plenty. I have all the vault packs as they exist now, and there's plenty of Kings of War stuff that I've not, nor will I probably ever print because I don't I don't play Kings. But October of 25 was the Spectra Blade Master and Kalishi, right? That's $60 in physical models alone that I can now print unlimited. That's literally the price of the subscription for me in 1 month release. But beyond that, you'll also get ad hoc member only discounts at managames.com and early notification and or access to sales and deals of the month. And finally, 2 times yearly exclusive reward models. So after 12 months of continuous membership, either both models free as STLs, or they can be taken as resin models and you'll pay the shipping charge, or included free on any regular order. So if you just do Club Mantic, which is the companion only all-in access, you get a 10% digital store discount on STL files and PDF files as they're added to the vault. And you'll also get your choice of one of those exclusive models every year that you can get as a model. The access to the second choice model you can get at a discounted rate. So that is straight from the email they sent. It's a lengthy email, but the vault has not seen a price increase in 3 years, which is pretty impressive considering the economic state, especially in the US, but in the world. That level of inflation, $1.50 on average for subscribers to see it go up is not a huge deal. I guess in my opinion, your financial situation may be different from mine. I can't say, but um, any thoughts or things to add to that, gentlemen?
I mean, for me, I'm probably looking at the Club Mantic level. Um, Although, like I said, I could be tempted up into the Fnatic just for voting in the polls to get more of the models I want. But
I know. I
I
wonder if I can just
mean,
default enforcer vote every month.
have a voting block where you would just encourage, the whales of the Mantic universe to all vote together.
I'll
I'll
just
put
message
up a
Clive and
couple
be
of
like,
my
listen, if I don't vote, just assume it was for whatever was enforcer related.
But yeah, I mean, so I'm probably looking at the Club Mantic because as it stands, I don't have the vault thing going. I had that going for nearly a year, but I let that lapse. So I'm currently just getting the all in on the companion app, which I think is probably the best mini wargaming app that goes along with any games that I currently play. So I've always been happy to support that. And,
It
staying
is.
at the Club Mantic level gets me 10% off, in the digital store for, buying some of the epic models and stuff. So I think it's fine. It's only going to cost me like $25 more over the course of the year. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I think there's a lot of value to what they're providing the community.
Well, we were kind of discussing this pre-show, and I'm glad you mentioned that, so I can bring it back up. Um, the amount of stuff in the companion that I don't think the average player probably even looks at, the organized play stuff, is great. Being able to build events and ensure that your players can get ranking worldwide is really awesome and something
I
I'd like to utilize. I'd love to be able to keep Epic going as like a quarterly tournament circuit in this
it's
area.
essentially access to every single, like the complete rule book for all the games.
Yeah.
Every bit of the rules is in the app for every game.
And one of the upgrades they released, Josh, I think you pointed out a couple of episodes ago, is they have a AI search feature that's beta-ing right now.
And it works really, really well. I encourage everybody to go try that. So I mean they're putting work into that app.
Yeah.
So
There's
the
a
Club
return on
Mantic level.
investment for what you're paying for.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean I get the price has gone up a little, but $25 for me to keep basically the same level that I'm currently at. It's not, over a year. That's not terrible.
I mean, I think I commented to you if someone said, "Hey, you have to spend $20 a month on your hobby," and if that's, you know, paying for a bunch of STLs and the companion app, that's not a terrible investment.
No, no, that's easily doable. I'd feel for most people. Well, I don't want to generalize, but we're
Right.
in a hobby where we're buying plastic crack and you know all the things that go into wargaming. I feel like the small increase that Mantic's doing is not. I don't know.
Listen,
I've been.
I'll stomp my feet here and say, well, with Warhammer Plus, I occasionally get cool cartoons.
Oh,
So
well, that
where
changes everything.
where is my cool enforcer cartoon just showing me an operative strike team busting into a derelict vessel and murdering Veermen in droves? That's
It's
where's my
it's those AI
visceral
videos that
animation?
you it's those AI videos you occasionally post. Take your walking.
I'm gonna knock up an entire Warpath animated series. And then people can be like, get that AI slop away from me. Well, speaking of slop, do we want to move on to discuss the hobby desks?
Sure.
In a rare instance, we're all sitting on video tonight and we can see Jordan is just pounding away on a bunch of Marauders.
Getting there. Nothing like a
He,
deadline
he,
to motivate the hobby painting.
listen, if you need a
Isn't that
deadline, you want to paint some terrain with me?
Hey, I offered a painting weekend a couple of times.
I, I
I
have
tell
to
me
agree
pick up
with
on it.
Jordan. Having two tournaments coming up in about 3 months' time has definitely lit the fire that's making me do more hobby work. I just painted up some more nameless models, working
Yeah, I
on
was about to say you're doing a
terrain.
full army switch, aren't you?
Well, I got done with my Forge Fathers, so well, that's not true. I still have the super heavies to do, but I want to save those for a little bit. But I wanted to get some paint on my son's nameless, and then after that, I'll do some Mysterians. But yeah, I'm trying to churn through as much as I can so that there's demo forces available for just about everything.
So for the Adepticon pregame tourney we're doing in February, are you bringing Forge Daddies or are you bringing Squidward?
I'm doing the Forge Daddies. I feel like I've got a good, strong list, but I tell you what, I've been playing against Forge Fathers almost exclusively, and I'm sorry, against Enforcers almost exclusively, and I'm feeling the pressure of how finely tuned Enforcers are. They're good. They're really good. So I'm trying to I'm not saying Forge Fathers aren't good. There's a lot of shining stars in the Forge Father lineup. Um, but they it's definitely competitive.
Shining Stars in the lineup makes it sound like you're going to play Dreadball All Stars.
If only I knew what that was.
You don't know what Dreadball All Stars is, or you don't know what Dreadball is at all?
Honestly, both. I saw Ronnie posted something the other day about like it's been 10 years since they've launched Dreadball or something like that, but
Dreadball is technically like the progenitor of the Warpath universe. It's a popular sport in the Warpath universe, and it's played by like all of the races, and it's basically like murder ball. Uh, I've never played Dreadball and sports. I mean, I'm a huge football and hockey fan, but like sports tabletop games have never really like appealed to me. But All Stars is just they're basically it's an all-star game of Dreadball, so it's like all of the best players from throughout the history of the game that you're able to bring together to build a list to play with. Um, I'm hopefully it'll be at Adepticon we can see it, but I don't. It probably won't be something that I jump all over. Um,
right.
Star Saga 2 would be, but Ronnie looked at me like I had a finger growing out of my forehead when I said that out loud. So, which is fine. My ass still hasn't paid Star Saga. Maybe that should be on my list of things to do.
So what is your hobby list then?
Well, wait. I have a further question for you before I get to that.
Oh, okay.
That nightmare fuel. Um, are you thinking Forge Daddies for Adepticon as well, or are you maybe going to switch over to Nameless?
Oof.
You gotta
I've
see
come
what
up
your
with
stuff
some
left at.
I've come up with some creative nameless lists that I'm
Yeah.
excited to put on the table. But I think I'm doing Forge Fathers because I'm gonna win the tournament at your game store, and then I'm gonna go win at Adepticon because I can't let Swedish Patrick do that. That this is going to be my game system that I'm the victor in. So yeah, I'm going Forge Fathers.
Awesome. Well, my hobby list right now, I am 6 Plague Artillery away from having all the demo forces painted for Adepticon. And depending on how editing and post goes on this tonight, I may get those done tonight. Um, After that, I have a Plague Colossus to paint up, which is already primed, and it's got its burgundy base, and then it's got its white zenithal, so it should go pretty quick. But I'm painting that up for one of my locals because he wants to play Plague in our Adepticon pregame, and I put a list together for him. And then I need to focus on Asterians. I put together an Asterian list for Patrick for Epic, and that's going to require me to paint a Clade Warden and an Overseer. So not a huge paint demand. Again, the Clade Warden's already primed, based out in his purple with his white Zenithal, so he's going to get hit with some blood red speed paint and then details, so he won't take too long. But after those are finished, I have to decide. I put together his firefight list as well, and I physically had enough models, but I have a total of 4 ciphers with fission beamers in the list, but I physically only have 3 ciphers with fission beamers. So I may have taken a cipher in the moment and painted his no rifle to look similar to the fission beamers that are being carried by the other ones. And
Nobody will notice.
that's kind of my hope, but I need to dig through my parts. I dug through my bit spin because I thought I'll just slash the arms off of one of my ciphers and redo the arms real quick. But I didn't have any more fission beamers in my bit spin, so I may have cipher sprues in my Asterian box, but I have to go looking for them, and that is going to be a low priority because after I finish up all the epic stuff painting wise, I have a metric ton of terrain to paint. The initial ask for the epic tournament was 8 tables, which I was close to having everything built or printed for. And with the likely expansion to 24 tables, that means I've got 12 or 24 players. That's 12 tables I've got to get prepped. So the printer has been running almost nonstop. And one of these days, I'm just going to strap a respirator on and go to work.
Well, I should be good for at least 3 tables worth of terrain.
Oh,
I'll
well,
bump up my
yeah.
2 to a 3 because my
Well,
printer's been going.
that's great because I am building right now like I have to do 12 tables on my own. And at the end of the day, you can never have too much terrain because obviously next year, if we're still doing this, which I hope we will be, um, the ask is going to be 6x4 and 2,000 plus points. So um, there's never anything as such a thing as too much terrain.
Well, they're not, might not be as, we might not hit 24 again if it expands. Even if you do or don't, right? Even if it's similar player count, it's going to be more table.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and looking at the book, they advise 6 pieces of 6x6 terrain, and then an equal number of barriers. And I'm playing fast and loose with that. Like I'm like, okay, if I get 4 6x6 and a couple of smaller and a handful, and trying to mix and match, because I want the tables to be fair. I don't want someone to feel like they got screwed out of a game because they played on a table. So I'm trying to make sure that there's proper
Ooh,
quantity of.
that might segue into my final thoughts later.
Yeah, well,
Well, you know what I'm gonna bitch about.
I never know what you're going to bitch about, Josh.
I actually have like 3 things for final thoughts, but
Yes,
I'll have to save those.
got to extend that runtime somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I have a ton of terrain. I'm happy to say I spent New Year's getting my firefight enforcers done. So I'm hoping the hope is to go to Adepticon and win best painted with them there to justify the peacekeeper tattoo I want to get. But
Mm, I mean,
I'll
it's good
I'll
to
already
have
have it.
roles.
I'll already have it. It'll be done like 2 weeks before Adepticon actually. Um, because I've already got the date set with my artist, but because I told myself if I took best painted in either event at MGT, I would do it, and I managed to get best painted in Firefight and Dead Zone. So I'm like, well, hell, I got to do it now. I told myself I'd do it, so I'm gonna have a cool ass Peacekeeper captain tattooed on my forearm here as a.
You're a braver man than me.
Well, I thought long and hard about it too because I went back and forth. I'm like, what if I had done that 5 6 years ago and gotten a PHR Immortal there? Would I have regretted that decision? And it's, I mean, I love Peacekeepers. I think they're fucking awesome, and I could just demonetize myself, demonetize my
What?
unmonetized podcast, um,
Why? You
because I
can
dropped an F
curse.
bomb there.
Oh, that doesn't matter.
But but yeah, I love Peacekeepers in general. But it was leading me to think of like, you know what? I still like the design of PHR Immortals, and honestly, if the whole Strike Zone stuff's available at Adepticon, I will probably snag a box of Immortals just to paint a couple up for nostalgia purposes. Because I mean, I still haven't gotten rid of my drop zone armies. Although I do think I'm gonna do some hobby clear out. I think Gates of Antares is gonna go on the chopping block. I think Legion is gonna go because I don't play it, and I could probably afford to drop a couple of bolt action armies. I have I think 3 different German armies. I have an SS army. I have a Wehrmacht army, and I have a Luftwaffe army, as well as a British airborne, U.S. airborne, U.S. infantry, and
I
the
mean,
solid starts of Soviet
we
infantry.
we spread our wings after the drop zone, and but we came back and regrouped on Epic. So
Yeah,
that's what you need to clear space for.
and I do. It's funny actually. Don is I'm parting with a bunch of my firefight plague stuff to Don. Because he's like, do you need the money? I was like, no, dude, I need the space. Like I'm just I'm
Mm.
just hoarding armies for Firefight that I'm not going to get to painting anytime soon. And um, so I like went through all my plague stuff and told him what I got and gave him a pretty solid deal on it. So he's stealing that from me, which is great because I wanted to see Don paint plague for Firefight 2 years ago when he jumped in and got GCPS
Right.
because his head was saying GCPS, but just
He chose
knowing
wrong.
Don,
Yeah,
plague
he
was
chose
the
wrong.
army that yeah, and I just can't wait to see what he does to them. They're gonna be the sexiest plague out there.
They're going to be sick.
They they are.
Where's
Oh,
your
Jordan, where is it?
I really hope those come across in the recording, 'cause, like,
Because otherwise
if
it's gonna
everybody's
sound really.
yeah.
But just in case it didn't come across. All right. Well, that is a lot of hobby talk there, and we're starting to come up on time, and apparently Josh needs a soapbox. So we want to move into some final thoughts.
Ooh. I always like to end the final thoughts with, like, a rule or just, like, some sort of interaction with Epic.
But
We might have to devote the next episode to rules, interactions, and more of the fine details of Epic Warpath, for
like the nested
people
rules,
to that's one of them, but, like, ooh, I've got 3 topics that, like, I really wanna talk in depth about, so I'm gonna just choose one, and Derek just brought up the
you
nested rules.
you can choose three. It's not like we're on a time limit.
Well, maybe, but so let's go with the nested rules. So rules like blast and what is it? Ignores cover, right? Yes, ignores cover. They have sustained attack built in after the fact. If you look at the
Right.
special rules, it does not state that like that unit has sustained attack. So sustained attack is, when you're rolling and you roll an 8, roll again.
Right.
You get an additional attack going. So I missed that in my initial read through. And I'm sitting there looking at like the Forge Fathers, what are they, Reich here or something like that. That they've got ignores cover. Okay, but it's it is what it is.
Sure.
But knowing that a unit has sustained attack built into ignores cover is a huge thing. It's also huge for blast markers. So,
Yeah.
all of your artillery units, it's a big change, and they really should not be doing that, especially on the army builder. They should take the unit and just put sustained attack as a
I agree.
rule, because you're gonna forget it. Because I
like it's
never
fine that
even
they
realized
do both,
it.
but word wise, it's not like they're saving space by nesting it, right? You can just it would be just as easy just to have rather than have the exception in the rule, just have the unit have both rules because it's the same amount of space.
Well, and here is
Yeah,
maybe the
because
flip
because
side
it's
of that. So,
go ahead.
Forge Fathers have one of their strategic orders is Born of Fire. Basically, it gives a unit ignores cover and pinning. Okay. So, so they've added the strategic order, gives a unit ignores cover pinning, but it also gives sustained attack. If you know that ignores cover gives sustained attack. So should they have just done ignores cover, pinning, and sustained attack so that when you're looking at the Born of Fire rule, you know which keywords to like single out? Or do you just go, well, ignores cover has sustained attack built into it?
Because I'm old and my memory is going, I like to have everything in writing in front of me. I don't like to have to remember, oh yeah, this is blast, so it has sustained as well. Repetition in games, obviously you'll get there, but it is something that I think could be off-putting is the wrong word, I guess, but it is something that if you're a new player, it's frustrating that you're like, oh well, my blast hit with eights times. I wish I'd have known that. That could have been three or more hits. And when a hit can delete a base, that can be a big swing in a game.
Well, and to even illustrate this, my friend who I've been playing of enforcers, or he's been playing enforcers against me, he sent me a list that had all the sustained attack. Like it was like 32 dice of sustained attack,
You shared
right?
that with me. I didn't realize ignore cover had sustained attack when we were talking about it because I'm like, your math is wrong, and you're like, no, because ignore cover has sustained.
Yeah, so like pathfinders are suddenly variably
Better.
much better. Um, and it just got to this point. It's like, okay, maybe this should not be nested because it's clearly something that everybody's overlooking. So if you're listening to this podcast right now and you already knew this, good job on you, big claps. But, for everybody else, ignores cover, blast, has sustained attack, and that does drastically change how you look at list building.
Did you have more you wanted to go into?
I mean, I could sit here for the next hour complaining, or not complaining, talking about different rules of interactions, because that's the nitty gritty that I really enjoy in some aspects of the game. Um, ooh, buildings. Buildings are huge if you've not really understood. So in Epic Warpath, terrain is kind of, if it's not a building, it doesn't really matter too much unless you look at your unit type. Infantry can just ignore everything. They're not slowed down by anything unless it's like impassable. So if you put a lava field out there, okay, that's a problem. But just about everything else, they walk through. Buildings are super special. They give you +1 to your armor when you're inside of it. They give against shooting attacks. Mm, does it also work for
They give you
close
cover.
combat? They give you cover.
You're
A
hindered if
huge
you assault a
bonus.
building. So
So
in a sense, it gives you a minus. There's a -1 to the assaulter for assaulting a unit in a
right.
building.
So there's a lot of like stacks for being in a building, whereas just being in a forest or whatever, you get the cover bonus, but you don't get the +1 armor. That +1 armor on a unit of like enforcers is drastically different than some Veerman unit, right? Like they're showing up with armor 4 going to a 5. Not a big deal. But when you start talking about those, armor 6 units going to a 7, or walkers are allowed to use buildings. They're allowed to go into buildings.
Which surprises me because that's a variation from Firefight. Walkers can't enter structures in firefights; they're bulky.
So if you get a unit like a Strider going into a building, they become, I believe, armor 8. I think they're 7 native. They become armor 8. And just because I've had to go against enforcers so much recently, they've got the one strategic order that makes them have heavy armor. Um, but it makes walkers and buildings super hard to remove.
An Enforcer Strider is armor 7 with a save of 7.
So jumps up to an 8, right? And it's
With a
harder
save of
to
7.
hit. So
Yeah.
they become, you put walkers in a building, they become a linchpin unit that is pretty hard to remove in
You gotta have
comparison
so
to
many
everything
buildings for
else.
terrain.
Yeah, well, so I'm of the assumption that there should only be like 3 buildings on a table. Derek's like, no, we're gonna have 12 for
I have
each one of
urban
these.
mats, man. I can't not put buildings in a city.
I mean, which is fine because everybody's going to have the same
And
benefit. But
and the removal of buildings is a cool feature, but Demolisher as a special rule required for destroying buildings
is
seems to
not
be in short
common.
supply. With
Yeah,
Enforcers, it's only on the Persecutor, which means you're burning a support slot to bring a pair of bombers with 2 dice and Demolisher on them. And the ability to destroy a building is difficult. I don't remember the
I don't
entire rule.
I don't think it's going to be a common thing that most people even interact with on the regular, unless somebody's always bringing super heavies to a game, and even then, not all super heavies have. Uh, was it Devastator to knock out the building
Demolisher knocks out the building.
or Demolisher? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess I'll end it there. My next topic for the next episode will be commanders and why you should bring as many as you possibly can.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a good thing. Commanders are great. You
They're
have to bring commanders to
really
have additional
good.
companies.
Really, really good.
Speaking of rules, something I caught today that I didn't quite realize. Aura as a special word. I in my head, aura was the same as the command radius, and aura is a fixed 6-inch range.
Yes.
So the reason that came to my attention is the Plague Lord has a really awesome aura that gives sustained and vicious in melee to any unit within his aura. And when I was looking at him, I was like, command radius 16 inches. Jesus, anything within 16 inches is getting sustained and vicious in melee. Why would you not run a Plague Lord and nothing but, zombies and leapers? And then I realized Aura was only 6 inch. I'm like, oh, well, because you have to run him up there to make sure they can do it. But still, incredible Aura. And incredibly awesome if you're going to put him behind a couple of ranks of chaff like zombies, where it's like, oh, well, 9 bases to chew through. Hope they don't get to you, and if they do, they're going to get bases back.
Yeah. No, aura is something that you'll experience against my Forge Fathers. I mean, not to like foreshadow anything, but the brokers are solid.
The
Um,
brokers are both.
I believe it's pronounced Brocker. I'll stroke my beard.
Whatever.
Um, no, the Asterian Narsa has Aura, and it gives anything within Aura a 7+ save, which is pretty cool because I've been rereading Frovox Enigma, and I was just reading Wailing Song, and they had a trio of Narsas overlapped. They're fighting Forge Fathers. They were murdering Forge Fathers in droves. It was beautiful.
That doesn't sound right, but okay.
They were forcing them to trudge uphill through a quagmire. And the Forge Fathers got tired of that shit, and they rolled up a magma destroyer and like vaporized the landscape, which evaporated the water and didn't dry out, but hardened the mud enough that they stopped sinking in it. It
That
was it
sounds
was a
more
cool read.
right.
Yeah, it's a good time. Warpath lore, man, does not get enough love. I've got a follow up on buildings, and we kind of discussed this previously. Capacity is based off of 2x2. Every 2x2 cube of a building gives you a capacity 3, which means a 4x2 building is capacity 6.
6.
Does capacity consider height?
No.
Shouldn't it?
No.
Why?
There. Well, because I read the rules and it doesn't factor that in.
That's fine. I understand what you're saying, but I'm asking if, if I can fit 3 bases into the first story of this building, why then could I not fit another 3 into the second story of that building? Is
Uh
that just too
I
much
just have to
mathing?
assume they didn't want us to like pick up multi-level buildings to stick models in there.
Well, height is relevant though to determining cover. So you
Yes,
want
but not as much
multi-level
as
buildings.
Firefight.
I had a conversation too with somebody about that, and they insist that while that may be the way it is written, they can't believe that that is the spirit of, which I hope so. But until otherwise stated officially, that'd be a little broke.
Topic for another podcast.
Certainly. So yeah, I got a little rambly, but also interesting rules based. Jordan, you got anything tonight?
Looking forward to getting a few more games in to really have some comment on the rules. I think we can speculate about all this stuff early, right? And how many heavy games have we actually had to see what these rules interactions are?
Josh waving his hands like I play all the time, lazy ass.
How many 1,500-point games you got in?
5+ recently.
Hey, I mean technically I've got 4 or 5 in. We played 3 in one day, Jordan.
Those were 1,000.
I'm sorry, does it need to be more than 1,000? I didn't mean
I
to
said,
overstep.
well, no, I just said 1,500 in my.
Oh. Well, we've got just over a month and we're going to get a few 1,500-point games in.
Yeah.
If we
I'm
don't find time before
excited.
then.
I'm excited to win this tournament, but I'm fully embracing that I'm going to take last place.
I'm contemplating today. I was looking around today at some of the STLs I have available, and I was like, you know what? I think I can fashion some fun little trophies for the Adepticon pregame. So maybe once you see trophies on the line, you'll feel motivated to bring your A game.
We do have a couple of months before Adepticon, but I would love to have some people who are listeners come up to us and be like, you know what, I listen and appreciate your guys' rambling for
I listen, and you guys have
being
no
there.
fucking idea what you're talking about.
Yeah,
This
I
is
mean
totally based
that's
off of my, like, so far I believe it's all been luck and stumbling. I mean, looking forward to losing my first game of Epic.
You.
wow.
Well,
I
no,
think I've lost.
I should state that differently because that means I've never played. I'm looking forward to losing a game of Epic for the first time. Now, granted, I've
Semantics.
got 4 games in, so let's
I
not
think
say
I've
that's
lost the last
unrelated.
3.
Listen, we've watched more than enough football to know that when a team is going 4-0, people start talking about how long that run can last.
Well, and I will say
That
the
you
3
played the
games
most
in
broke ass
were
arm.
all very close wins, right? And a couple of them very Pyrrhic.
I have played 4 games and lost 3 of them. So I have actually broken with my standard of just losing all the time since last Adepticon. But I'm changing that this year. I'm going all the way in Firefight. My all enforcer peacekeeper strike force is going to just bring people to tears. Nigh unkillable. Patrick's gonna kick my ass with my own armies.
Probably.
Hey, if you win,
I
you
don't know
win.
that.
If he wins, you win, right?
No matter who wins, we lose.
Yeah, I don't know that we fully explained this, especially for the new listeners. But Patrick has been a longtime gaming friend of ours from the Drop Zone days, and would consistently crush tournaments. And I mean, I had him join the Firelock tournament a year or 2 ago, and he took second place without ever playing the game before. So like, he's good at the games.
He messaged me today. He's like, "We gonna be able to get any practice games in?" I'm like, "Q, you don't need practice. You're lucky I'm sharing the list with you."
So he'll be at Adepticon. So try your
He'll be
luck
using my
against the
dice though,
Swede.
so he'll probably lose every game. I'm pretty sure it's his Swedish-made dice. Once he brings them to this side of the globe, the electromagnetic field just pulls them to high numbers constantly.
I mean, if he was going from southern hemisphere to northern hemisphere, it'd be the polarity flipping, right? It's like
It
the
doesn't
It's
have
toilet
to make
time
flipping the
it
zone.
doesn't
elevator.
have to make sense, Jordan. It's just his Scandinavian ways. He comes across the pond. He's like, I must conquer these people. Well, on Scandinavian conquest, I think is probably the best way to to end the conversation tonight. Jordan,
I
anything
get
else to add?
Nope, just looking forward to getting more experience at the game.
Josh, you had something to add.
I was just gonna say, get more games in, everybody. You know, enjoy the game. I'm really really enjoying Epic, so uh, it's a good game.
Well, I know we're a little late on this podcast by comparison to the others, but we will try to be back in a shorter window to get back on track after we've got some demo games that have been played and have some more fun and exciting Epic Warpath news to talk about. Most of us are going to be at Adepticon, so if you are a listener and you hear us rambling, yelling, being jackasses, don't hesitate to run over and say hi. Until then, keep moving around your tiny plastic spacemen, and we'll talk to you next time.